Hello guys, once again welcome you all guys in the short video of GST knowledge series. My name is CMA Sani, and today's short video is on the topic of definition of India in section 2 clause 56 of CGST Act 2017. What do you mean by India? Which area is considered as India? That's why we can levy the GST. Alright. So let's see the definition of the GST. Definition of the India. So section 2 clause 56 of CGST Act 2017, India means the territory of India is referred to in article 1 of the constitution. So this territory of India is referred in which article? Article 1 of the constitution of India. Its territory, water, seabed and subsoil underlying such water, continental shelf, exclusive economic zone or any other maritime zone as referred to in the territory, water, continental shelf, exclusive economic zone and any other maritime zone Act 1976 and the air space above its territory and territory water. Sir, what is this? So this definition says this definition told us a 3-point majorly, right? Which are these 3 points? Point number 1 is territory water. Point number 2 is continental shelf, and point number 3 is exclusive economic zone. It means, and these definitions are referred in the Act 1976. Which Act? Territory Water Act, Continental Shelf and Exclusive Economic Zone Act 1976. Right? So what is territory water? What is continental shelf? And what is exclusive zone? Right? So we'll discuss about these 3 things. If anyone doing the business, right, in these 3 points, so these 3 points area also considered as a India's part, right? And their GST will be levied. So let's understand with an example. So suppose this is the India's part. This is the India's map, right? Okay. Suppose this is the India's map and this is the India's boundary line, right? India's boundary line. And beyond this India's boundary lines, the whole area is contained filled to the water, right? So suppose this is a water area beyond this India's boundary line. So this area is filled to the water, right? So this is the water area beyond the India's boundary line. Okay. Okay. So just in the definition of India, we saw the 3 points. Which are these points? Point number 1 was territorial water. Territorial water. Alright. Point number 2 was continental shelf. Continental shelf. Point number 3 is exclusive economic zone. Alright. If anyone is covered in these 3 points, so these 3 points area also considered as India's part, right? And GST will be levied. So let's see what is territorial water, what is continental shelf, what is exclusive economic zone. So all these 3 points is referred, is considered or is mentioned in the Act 1976. Alright. So let's see. So suppose this area, and this area will be calculated from the India's boundary line. Right, if you go beyond this boundary line till the 12 nautical miles, what? 12 nautical miles. We will measure 12 nautical miles from the India's boundary line, right? So this area is called territorial water, right? So it means this part also considered as a India, right? So this is mentioned in India's definition. If anyone is doing the business in this area, so this area is called also India's part, right? So what is this area? 12 nautical miles. So what is nautical miles? So see, the water area is measured in nautical miles, like land area is measured in kilometer. So if you convert in kilometer, so 1 nautical miles is equal to 1.852 kilometer, right? So 1 nautical miles is equal to 1.852 kilometers. Okay, this is the point number 1. Point number 2 is a continental shelf. What is continental shelf? Same. If you measure this area from this boundary line, same, right? From this boundary line of the India and 24 nautical miles. So this is called continental shelf in the Act 1976, right? If anyone doing the business, right, in this area, so this area is also be considered as India's part and GST will be levied. Got it? Okay, point number 3. What is exclusive economic zone? So same we will consider. So exclusive economic zone. So this area, same we will consider. We will measure from the India's boundary line. So if anyone doing the business in this area, and this area is called will be measured like 200 nautical miles. Right. So this is a exclusive economic zone area. Right. So what this means, if anyone doing the business in this area, so this will be considered as India's part and GST will be levied. Got it? So first is territorial waters, that is spread over the 12 nautical miles from the India's boundary line, and the second is a continental shelf. This is spread out to 24 nautical miles from the India's boundary line, and exclusive economic zone is spread 200 nautical miles from the India's boundary line. If anyone doing the business in these area, so this part also considered as India's part, right, and GST will be levied. And another things that we are doing the business, anyone doing the business, right, in this water, so the area of this bottom of the water also considered as India's part, right? If anyone doing the business on the bottom of the water, so it will be considered as India's part and GST will be levied. And another point is, if anyone doing the business air space of the water, right, air space, I mean in air, in sky, right, if anyone doing the business in air space of the water, this area is also will be considered as India's part, right, and it will be considered as India's part and GST will be levied. Got it? So let's see again this definition of the India, what we understood in this example. So section 2 clause 56 of India means the territory of India is referred to in article 1 of the constitutions. So its territory water, seabed means bottom of the water, and subsoil underlying such water. Second is a continental shelf means 24 nautical miles. Exclusive economic zones means 200 nautical miles, or any other maritime zone as referred to in the territorial water, continental shelf, and exclusive economic zone and other maritime zone Act 1976. And the air space above its territory and territory water is also considered as India's part, air space, right? So this is the definition of India, sections 2 clause 56 of CGST Act 2017.